croeso i'r sianel Blaid Llywyd. And there's Oswald and Hadrian. We are back in Veyline City for more Heaton's Reach. And if you remember, Hadrian was starting to do some training. If you're not too sure where we were, feel free to check up the other videos. But we're just going to start up the new update right now. I wasn't prepared for the week's work that was ahead of me, as both Benjie and Oswald took turns training me the best of their ability in all forms of combat. Oswald trained me in close, hand-to-hand combat, just like he said. And while he's a nice and gentle teacher, I often find myself learning more from Benjie with his strict yet enriching regimen in ranged combat. Over the next 6 days I became a lot more confident in my aim than with my fists, which probably shows who's better at teaching. Though it definitely didn't feel like the week came and went, the fateful day, the day of the mission, finally came. I wake up once more, still getting used to the earlier hours being a part of the midnight sun demands of me. I take my newly laundered clothes, neatly folded by Benjie, and put them on. That sly raccoon is quite the neat freak, surprisingly. Considering he does most of the cleaning in the base, it isn't all that surprising to me anymore to see him sweeping the floors in his off time. Guess you really shouldn't just judge people at first glance. Of course, the raccoon constantly reminded me of those words isn't helping me forget it anytime soon. As I take my time walking towards the training hall, my mind drifts towards Oswald. Of course, the wolf is quite sweet, perhaps even a bit territorial. Actually, nope. He's definitely the territorial type. There's no doubt about that. Whenever I think of it, though, a rather simple question goes through my head. Why? I haven't really warranted any of it, as far as I'm concerned. It really only leaves me in the dark about Oswald's intentions. Yeah, sure. The guy's about as straight as me, at the very worst, but people don't get like that over a simple crush. The thought of being his crush is a bit surprising, too. To be honest, I'm not too sure how to feel about it. Oswald may be nice for those reasons, but I'm not too eager on that possibility. Maybe because I might not genuinely reciprocate those feelings? I finally arrive at the training hall, despite my self-imposed delays. I peek inside to see Oswald and Benjie. Oswald's in the middle of training his footwork on the ring, while Benjie was at the shooting range as usual. I suppose since it's the last day I should train with him, but where to go first? I still need to brush up my hand-to-hand combat. I'd have preferred if I didn't have to fight anybody, but at this rate, coming to blows with someone else is sounding more like an inevitability than a possibility. When it comes to hand-to-hand combat, Oswald's proven to be the most knowledgeable of all the guys in the base, as far as I've seen. Sure, Benjie's got his instincts, his agility. Max has got that hot-blooded nature of his. But Oswald, it always seems like every punch and every strike, every action in battle, there's meaning and purpose to all of them. No matter what way you ask him about why he dodged a certain way, or why he pulled his punch then, he always has an answer. Even though he can't always put it into words. I climb into the ring. Puddles of sweat from Oswald's practice are littered across its floor, making it glisten and gleam against the ceiling light. He gazes at me as I let out a large puff of air upon standing back up, the short climb surprisingly taking the wind out of me. Guess it's still too steep for me to just lunge over easily. Well, I suppose I can't expect much from a week of training, but still. Hey, Adrian. His tone is unexpectedly sullen. I suppose that should be a given, with the mission and all that. I decide to ignore it, raising my fists up. Mind a sparring session? I need to refresh on that stance you've been teaching me. He doesn't respond. Chuckling a bit as he raises his fists in return. I nod as I take the first step forward, inching closer towards the wolf's large form. My whole body still feels heavy from his presence in the ring. Its fierce eyes intimidated me to no end. Aside from the times I had to spar with him, I was a lot more comfortable when he just taught me to throw good punches. Still can't apply it all too well, though. Regardless of my feelings, I muster up the strength to take a wide swing at him, which he easily dodges. He grabs my extended arm, throwing me to the hollow floor of the ring. I take a second to recover, the speed of all of it happening going way too fast for me. When I open my eyes, Oswald is leaning downward, looking at me with a concerned look. Are you okay? Yeah, just a bit winded by the speed is all. Oswald nods as he sighs in relief. He extends his hand to me, which I take immediately. He lifts me up to a sitting position, sitting cross-legged afterward to level with me. So, what did you do wrong? I groan as I scratch my head, the impact I had on the ring still slightly tingling across my back. Well, I thought I could... Okay, stop. That's where the problem lies. He pokes my forehead with his finger, his claw trailing on it softly. You're still dependent on that head of yours. Thinking in the middle of a fight can only get you so far. I pout in frustration. The wolf continues on. You have to learn to cut your thinking mid-fight. You see an attack, you act accordingly. Make it sound so easy. Oswald grabs me by the torso, lifting me as he stands up. Well, that's because it develops naturally the more experience you have. You don't have to actively hone it, but it speeds up the process if you do. I shake my head in confusion. It's just a natural progression thing. Why do we still spar and train? Wouldn't it be better if I beat up some criminals out in some alleys or something? Oswald chuckles at my remark, but quickly recomposes himself. And come on, Adrian. Just because you're mentally capable of keeping up with someone doesn't mean your body will follow suit. If it does, it'll break itself in the process. Oswald flexes his bicep, smirking to himself as he does so. At this point, I'm quite used to seeing the wolf's toned form, at least enough to stop being a blushing mess around him. We train and spar to mitigate that. The more our body's capable of doing the things it needs to survive, the more possibilities our mind can default to almost any situation. Oswald raises his fists once more, his expression returning to a serious one. No, I'm not going to attack nor counter any of your moves. Try to develop your strength. Throw stronger punches. That'll be the focus for as long as we can till the mission. Right. We continue like this for the next few minutes or so, stopping after a sequence of strikes with his open palms for him to give his feedback. He focuses on being more agile, making me work harder to keep up with his speed. After a while we finally stop, my body not feeling as shit as after the first few combat sessions with Oswald. I suppose there's that as a mark of improvement to be proud of. Oswald creates a distance between us as I take a moment to catch my breath. As I regain myself, I look up to Oswald, who's dripping in sweat. He rotates his arms as he stretches upwards, a low-pitched groan escaping his muzzle. Probably hit a good spot in that stretch. Sweat falls down from his chest to his abdomen until he finally stops. Releasing a sigh as he looks at me once more. Well, that was a nice warm-up, I'd say. Enough for the mission, maybe? I laugh nervously at his remark. I'd like to think I won't overexert myself. Well, that is a nice thought, yeah. Oswald sighs to himself, his smile quickly dissipating back into that aloof expression. Is something wrong, Oz? Oswald quickly realises my concern, his ears perking up as his eyes dart towards me. Oh, I'm fine, Adrian. I'm just thinking about the stuff I need for the mission. Oswald walks past me, patting me on the shoulder. You better get ready too. I nod to him, the wolf taking as a signal to drop from the ring and leave. As I look at him as his figure disappears into the corner, something tugs onto the edges of the ring. Well, you really are that wolf's happy pill. Benjie leans on one of the ring's support beams, his tail swishing playfully. I suppose a conversation could be nice. After all, I do need to get ready for the mission. Why don't we talk on the way? Alright. We walk off in the training area towards the hallway, silence enveloping the atmosphere around us. The faint hum of the pipes echoes across the vents on the ceiling, tempting me to take the first step. I've always let Benjie start conversations, for the short time I knew the raccoon. It always felt a lot more natural that way. I hesitate to speak, yet I eventually find the right words to break the silence. So, about Oswald. Benjie glanced at me nonchalantly, a hint of curiosity on his face. Did you notice anything off about him? Off? Yeah, like something's on his mind. Benjie chuckles playfully. Quite a phenomenon for the airhead, no? Yeah, I suppose so, but that isn't the weirdest part. Benjie doesn't respond, and I decide to continue with my thoughts. I'd like him to stay quiet about his emotions, right? Quite observant. Oh, it is a bit off the mark. Benjie pauses for a moment. The wolf's remarkably good at keeping his emotions in check when it matters. Really? I wouldn't be able to tell. The raccoon places his hand on my shoulder, facing me as we stop in our tracks. It's understandable. Devoid of the full picture, you made a rather convincing template, given the information before you. Benjie faces back towards the door behind him, immediately recognizes it as his room. However, for your safety, I suppose context should be your best shield, so you know where you and I stand. The doors behind him open as he steps back, standing on the doorframe. He signals me to come with him, much to my confusion. You told me your room was off limits. I said it's off limits unless I told you otherwise, so... He signals me again, and the idea finally settles on me. Oh, come on now, pup. Nervous see the nefarious machinations that come at my abode? I roll my eyes as I humour him. Well, this is what you trained me for, right? He giggles as we enter his room. The walls are rather dark, purposely painted in a dark shade of green, neon lights trailing the walls. The colour scheme of the room and glow from the lighting reminded me of his jacket. Benjie has a bed bigger than the one I have in my room, and it's quite neat and orderly. The same thing can be said for the things on his end table and the desk opposite the bed. This just confirms that Benjie is definitely a neat freak. Surprising. For a raccoon. I'll pack some things for the mission. I'll haul if I need you to grab something. Why don't you look around? I nod as I walk towards the centre of the room. It feels more spacious than my own room, despite all the extra furniture he has. Oh, trying to mess up the order of things? I don't want to have to clean this place up when I get back. Will do, sir. I chuckle as I survey the area, with Benjie sitting on the bed and taking some things from his desk. I notice a few things to note in his room, outside of what I've already seen. There's a row of small vials neatly arranged next to a diffuser, and a framed picture on the end table next to it. I approach the dresser first, taking a few of the vials and reading the inscriptions on them. Citrus in lemon, earth and morning, rainy day. All have a sort of nature theme to them. So, this is the culprit your unique scent, Benjie leans back at me with slight surprise, followed by a chuckle. Well, I like to remind myself what it's like to breathe rural air. Rural, huh? That takes me back. You're a provincial too? Yep, I'm from further south. It was quiet and there was a lot of water surrounding our town. Coupled with a cold breeze, it must have been a nice swim, I assume. Yeah, it was, especially during the summer. Well, I don't get the appeal. Being from the north makes you look at the cold a bit differently. Good to know. I put the vials back in their exact positions, so I'm sure Benjie's a stickler for the details. I stand a few feet back before investigating the end table. I approach it, taking the picture and observing the frames front and back. It's rare to see physical photos, even more so actual wooden frames. I take a look at the photo itself. It's a family picture. Part of it is folded almost purposefully. Hey, Benjie. Yeah? I hesitate to bring it up, yet my curiosity makes me reaffirm my decision. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I show him the picture as he looks behind him. Is this your family? Benjie's expression deflates into a rather bitter one, causing me to recoil and place the frame back on the end table. I'm sorry. No. It's fine, Hotshot. To answer your question, it is my family. He turns back to continue arranging his stuff. I have 6 siblings. I'm the oldest, and that makes us 7. Are they in Bayland City? He shakes his head. They're back in the province, are they? No response. Oh, fuck, I just made a mistake, didn't I? I hope he isn't mad at me. I take a seat on the bed, making sure to keep myself behaved for the rest of the time I'm here. I didn't leave because I was selfish. He takes me by surprise, and I quickly glance back at him. That's what you're thinking, right? The oldest brother leaves his family to gain riches on his own? Not at all. The thought never even crossed my mind. Heh, maybe. Maybe you don't realize it. A sigh escapes under his breath, surely to hide it from me. I have my reasons. As much as this past week's been a delight, I don't believe we're there yet. He turns to face me once more. Just trust me, alright? Okay. The doors suddenly slide wide open, with Alice on the other side, a box covering up her chest. Hey, Benjie. She cuts herself off when she sees me. Oh, hey, Adrian. Perfect timing. I wave at her, but Benjie stands, approaching the tiger. Everything's here, yes? With some extra leftovers as per your request. Benjie chuckles. Perfect. Thank you, darling. He winks, Alice rolling her eyes in response. Her eyes dart to me instead. Your stuff's at the lounge, in a box too, all prepared for the mission at hand. I nod at her and she promptly leaves, pouting at Benjie for doing so, causing the raccoon to chuckle. Well then, Hotshot, go ahead to the lounge. We'll need to get ready for a party after all. Oh, alright then. I take the hint and leave first for the lounge. I'm sure Benjie will catch up after a bit. He's always been quick with his business. I take a brisk pace to reach the lounge, crashing onto the couch as I groan to myself. I messed up, didn't I? I shake my head in embarrassment and shame. Damn it, I'm a lot more tactful than whatever that was. Bringing up his parents when they were hidden in the photo. Stupid, Adrian, stupid. I suppose I did need to sate my curiosity, but as I groan, I suddenly feel something pressing on my nose. A shadow looms over me with it, making me blink twice to see what was booping me. Nervous? I slowly stand as the shadow turns out to be Alice. Ever been brilliant to sleep before you head out on the mission, no? I shift into a sitting position on the sofa, leaning back with a sigh escaping my lips. I know. I kind of need to calm down. Alice stifles a chuckle. Did Benjie give the old boot after letting you in his room? I nod to her, the tigress planting herself on the living chair opposite me. She places her bag onto the coffee table, signalling me to take a look inside. Your new gear. You can thank me and Ellie for the upgrades we found useful for your skill set. As I open the bag, Alice looks expectantly at me with each object I take out. Inside the bag is a gas mask, an improved version of my jacket, and a communicator device. Wow. This is... Alice's smile minimizes a bit, her eyebrow raising in tandem. Your hesitation doesn't bode well. You don't like it? No. I think it's amazing. I guess I'm just a bit disappointed in myself. But you're able to get more creative with the others' gadgets. Oh, don't get your tail in a twist. It's your first mission after all, so you consider this your starter set. Besides, I already had your bracelet updated to interface with the party's sound system. That'll be all you need if things go smoothly. If things go smoothly, huh? My mind still feels uneasy about the entire mission. Dylan always said I was the type to worry, but in this case I feel like it's warranted. After all, a life and death situation would certainly be cause to think about the outcomes, right? As my thoughts drift the near infinite possibilities that the mission might end, I quickly notice a shiny piece of metal twirling between Alice's fingers, slight gleams reflecting off its surface. Hey, Alice. Yeah? What's that thing you're spinning around? Looks like something fragile. Alice does a double take on what I see as a metal chip. Had she not considered she could break it if it was a chip? Oh, it's not fragile, I think. Maybe it's because I'm used to handling stuff like this. She lays it flat on her palm, showing it to me slowly. Besides, this isn't going to be something you need for the mission. It's a backup copy of a gadget for Oswald and Benjie. The cloaking device allows them to change their clothes' appearance through the use of hard light. A cloaking device? How does it work? Well, that's what I'm here for. Alice gazes towards the entrance of the rooms, causing me to look back as well, only to see Benjie, the chip attached to his choker. With a simple press of a button, Benjie's outfit quickly changes from his usual jacket to a very dapper and convincing tuxedo, completely concealing the bag he had strapped on his shoulder. Whoa! Infiltrating enemy lines means they're going to have to be non-threatening. That often means we have to come up with roundabout ways to smuggle any weapons and gadgets in. That would often implicate our insider man. However, with this technology we can still be Prince Charmings, with deadly firearms strapped to our backs and no one would be the wiser. Of course, rifles are not my style. This is mostly of my other nifty trinkets I have to hide before we get to the back rooms. As we talk, we hear footsteps echoing from the hallway. And speaking of supposedly harmless Prince Charming type, Oswald comes into the lounge, ready in his pseudo-tuxedo similar to Benjie's, though his has a bit more of a personal touch. Oh, sorry for the wait. It took me a bit to get this thing to work. Oswald places his hand close to his sleeves, revealing the actual gauntlets hidden beneath the hard light illusion. Oz, remember what I said? The illusion can easily break under sudden movement, so you have to be delicate with it. Sorry, Alice. There's that distant tone again. Am I just imagining it, or... You two certainly look fit for a fancy party. Kinda wish I had an excuse to wear a tux too. It may look comfortable, but leave me, hotshot. We've got our gear under all this. Oh, indeed. Of course, it's just to get past the initial crowd, but... Oswald pauses for a moment, causing the raccoon next to him some unease. We'll be prepared to fight if it comes to that. If we do this right, we won't have to. I prefer that option at the moment. The wolf chuckles as he gently pats Benjie on the back. That's so? Well, I'll keep the safety on then. Oswald walks towards the exit of the base, looking back at me and Benjie. Well, you guys ready? Ready as I'll ever be, I guess. Benjie moves past Oswald, disappearing into a corner. Let me get the car ready. Of course. Tell Corvus I said hi. Oswald and I follow the raccoon out into the hallway, his figure disappearing off into the staircase. I quickly tried to pick up the pace, but Oswald lags behind, having no intention of keeping up with me or Benjie. I constantly alternate between taking a few steps ahead and then waiting for the wolf to keep up with me, his gaze mostly directed at the floor. If his tone hadn't given it away by now, his averted gaze definitely sells the idea. Of course, the mission is just around the corner, but still. This is a large disconnect, something that feels unnatural, in a sense. I hesitate to bring it up to Oswald, all the signs I've been getting. Whatever is bothering him is going to be too disruptive to bring up right now. Maybe later. I quickly go up the steps towards the exit, my partner's steps echoing loudly behind me. As I reach the first signs of light, I quickly see Benjie fiddling around outside the car. Ah, you're here. I give him a casual wave in response. Hey Adrian, I'd like you to meet someone. Oh, who would that be? He chuckles as he wraps his arm around my shoulder. He ushers me to the driver's seat of the car, rolling down the window. Suddenly, an electrical buzzing comes from the inside of the car. Greetings, Sir Adrian. Charmed to make your acquaintance. I didn't expect this. Benjie's car has an AI in it. So, artificial intelligence in a car? I am much more than some measly AI, my good sir. I would highly suggest you rectify such notions in your mind before you enter my premises. Oh, a surprisingly sassy one. I wonder why you picked this AI, Benjie. The raccoon giggles as he steps into the driver's seat. This is Corvus, Adrian. He's got the power of the latest GPS and maneuverability at his arsenal without all the boring, straight-laced bullcrap of conventional AI. Without the legal limitations as well, might I add. Oh, well, that's reassuring. I almost forget that's what we're about to do is illegal in every sense of the word. At least this is a good reminder of where we stand. It's definitely jarring to have to worry about being caught as a wanted criminal. Is it maybe too late to turn back? It gets cut off as the doors to the front seat of the car open up, with Benjie on the wheel. He ushers me inside with a quick waving motion, which places me back in the reality of the situation. If there was any way I could turn back from all this, a part of me won't let what happened to my route, no, my life, to anyone else. If Eden Corp decided I was out of line fighting with the people I care about, like Dylan, then I'd gladly do it again. I have little to no doubts now. Stepping into the car, I'm quickly readied up with a seatbelt, coupled with Corvus' engines whirring. Benjie places his hand on my shoulder as he starts backing out of the bar's garage. Light quickly comes from behind us from the sunset, an orange hue filling the back seats, a bit peeking through Oswald's large frame. This is it. The very first mission. The mission that starts the battle of my life. To be continued. Well, I hope you enjoyed that edition of Eden's Reach. Of course, we'll be carrying on with the series as we get more updates. And these are all the people involved in making it. As for Dark Mega, Neob, Gavin Evans, Nima VA. Oh, I can't read them all fast enough, but you can read them on your own time. Marcy Dragonwolf, Wild Tapioca, The Blind... It is really fast. I can't keep up with these at all. Gabe, Grayson Wolf. Blue Dog Thing, Auto Raft have their special thanks. And there you can see all these Twitter handles there. So these are the people making it, and thanks to them, so I have something to do. And also, thanks to all my patrons and people who donate on Ko-fi. Another great segue there. One for the ages, I think. And as always, I like to let you know who my top patrons are. They're all very appreciated. But these are the ones who get mentioned. Burnt Toast, Kartek, Cobras Visser, Besuksu, Larkuskaton, Bastion, Ryan Hall, Gunnar Muller, Tiger Cub, Ida Corval, Anubis Silverwind, Dissonance, Grizz, Spiderling, Kopi, Sindri Drekkerwolf, Marcus, Evan King, Monolay, Exac, and Dumb Pistachio. So they are all the top patrons. Thanks to them and everyone, as I always say, because I really do mean it with this. I really appreciate all of you. And everyone who gives me money on Ko-fi as well. If you can't afford to do a monthly patron, that's fine. If you can't afford to give anything Ko-fi, absolutely no problem. Just feel free to watch these videos and hopefully enjoy them. That's all I'm really expecting from these series. Speaking of series, something interesting is going to be coming up on the weekend. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. That will be a bit of a surprise for you. But there'll be that. I was going to do a short video about some new stuff, but I'm kind of running low on time. So I am going to just do a quick post of that. So check on YouTube sometime. There'll be a post, some new VNs, which I might or might not be doing, but I think they're worth taking a look at. And also, don't forget, next week there will be an actual live stream, which is something I very, very rarely do. But I'll be doing the Q&A thing, which some of you know about. So there's still time to put your questions in. Probably if you do them before about next Wednesday, then you'll have a chance to get your questions answered as long as they're not too personal. Yes, I read some of these questions. And whoa, you're very curious, aren't you? So that will be going on, and then we'll see what happens. I'm also planning a few things with other people. There'll be a couple or more collaboration streams coming out over the next month. So that's something we'll all let you know about those ones as they happen. Until the next video, which is your surprise one, which I hope you're going to enjoy. I was very impressed when I read it. So that might give you a clue as to how surprising it's going to be, because you may not have read it yourselves. Until then, thanks for watching and bye for now.